Thank you. Today I decided to read you two short chapters from this novel in progress. And both of those chapters are written from the perspective of my penguin, whose name is Punks. This is his father. He's slightly bigger. And I got very tired of writing, I think, at some point, and I needed to write or rewrite some of my childhood memories through the perspective of someone who never judged me and was always like great support, in an attempt to reach some kind of like radical acceptance, I suppose. So this is written from the perspective of Punks. And as Martyna precisely squeezes my wing, her eyes open, waking her up, waking me up too, in the middle of the night, so precisely and very, very suddenly. And this abrupt movement triggers her mouth to open too, with a slight smile deviation to the left. And as her mouth opens, she gasps, swallows a sharp bowl of woody air, and rises up. And as she rises up, I rise up, and her body temperature rises too, all at once. A single noise triggered a beautiful choreography of our body movements. Martyna would typically be scared in situations like these, but not today, because the noise we just heard didn't taste like fear, it tasted like answers. And if there is one thing that Martyna loves more than most things, it's finding answers to her questions. In fact, all of her water particles have been dancing under her skin from the moment her eyes opened, so very, very suddenly. Her particles have been dancing because yesterday Martyna did something, because yesterday she asked a question, and the noise she just heard signals she's about to get an answer. A month ago, Martyna's friend Tanya died and disappeared. Tanya died. She disappeared. And with her, the ritual of sharing their lunchbox in the schoolyard disappeared too. Tanya disappeared. And while the other 6-year-old children of her class found comfort in hearing she went to heaven with her mother, Martyna needed to know what and where this place was, what the deal was, and how it all worked. Martyna needed to know how and why at all times. She became obsessed with the concept of paradise and wondered if her friend would still celebrate birthdays in heaven. Her mom told her that it was unlikely because only souls go to heaven and they don't age anymore, you see. Martyna thought this wasn't an acceptable answer. How stupid and mean, she thought. First you die against your wishes, and then you don't even get birthdays and presents? She needed to check. So following her mother's instructions, Martyna prayed last night and asked God if there were birthdays in heaven. Her mom prepared her not to await a verbal answer, but said God might give her an answer in other ways than responding to her with words. So Martyna invented a system to receive the answer. She told God, if there are birthdays in heaven, great. If not, then tell Tanya she's allowed to come and play with my toys during night in my room while I sleep. And see, Martyna's eyes just opened very wide in the middle of the night. They opened very wide from a noise on the steps of her bunk bed. We sit up, wing in hand, and crawl under the ceiling towards the edge, where the steps of the bunk bed start. The bed has beautiful wooden steps going down in a half spiral towards the floor. They are covered with a soft red velvet fabric. Red velvet. Soft red velvet. We crawl and silently stick our heads out of the bed to see the steps. And there she is. Tanya, sitting on the third step, sitting on soft red velvet wood, looking down at a toy she picked in Martyna's room. Tanya, playing with Martyna's toys on the third red velvety step of her bunk bed, Tanya undisappeared, carrying an answer. Tanya undied to play with a toy in Martyna's room while she was sleeping. Tanya playing on the third step of Martyna's bunk bed in the middle of the night, wearing a dress instead of pajamas. Martyna's hand squeezes my wing mournfully. I look up and see her directing a single precious tear towards her mouth, and as the salt touches her tongue, she calmly says, "There are no birthdays in heaven." This one is from a different day. Standing on her bed, between her two pillows where she carefully positioned me this morning, I see Martyna picking her clothes. She picks each item meticulously. She wants the colors to help her words resonate when she goes and talks to her parents in the living room. She wants to explain that when she broke the plate this morning, it wasn't because she wanted to. Her body collapsed on itself, and she doesn't know why. Martyna's body often collapses when things don't go as planned, and it hurts her brain in ways she can't explain in words. I feel the small detonations cascading inside her veins, pulsating, 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 and cascading towards her vital organs. When a pulsation reaches her heart, it makes her cry, and people usually don't get angry at her if she cries. When a pulsation reaches her lungs, she stops breathing and stares at colors until everything blurs around them. And people don't notice her blank stare, so, much like the cries, it hasn't been an issue. But when a pulsation reaches the brain, Martyna's muscles start twitching and they all shake, 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 eventually resulting in her body collapsing. And people don't respond well to muscle twitches or collapsing bodies. So a plate broke this morning. It broke from one of those collapses. And no one in Martyna's family, not even her, understands why the plate broke. But they all understand plates are not meant to break from collapsing bodies over breakfast. Facing her mirror, Martyna puts a purple sweater on and practices all the words she wants to tell her parents and how she should move and when she should pause so the harmonies she chose to accompany her make her words resonate. She feels ready because today she came up with a new metaphor to explain what was happening in her head just before the pulsation started traveling through her veins, just before she broke the plate. A new metaphor, one she thinks will be understood. I have an empty orchestra in my brain. It's like a double symphonic orchestra. Like imagine 120 musicians that are about to play. They're all in my brain and they're about to start, but they haven't started yet. It's silent, but it's so loud, a very, very loud pulsating silence. And when they are here, I can't think. Martyna presses her nose against my beak and breathes in to combine our smells before she goes to the living room. I will stay in the bedroom, but I will hear her from where I am. She knows that. She leaves me by the door, leaning against the wall, so I can hear better. I wait anxiously. She has been out there for a while, and I think she's going off script now. And when she is unscripted, the passion in her words and the shakes of her voice are often perceived as anger. Martyna is often called angry, arrogant, stubborn, selfish, but I think she's mainly very, very sad. My head pushes against her bedroom wallpaper a little further, the one she ripped off yesterday when she was told to go and calm down in her room after another collapse. Yesterday, when she rushed in with the pressing need to peel her skin off. Yesterday, when all of the consuming heat created by her pulsating veins needed to come out of her skin so she could lower her body temperature. She clutched her right hand fingernails together, about to peel, when in a powerful last attempt to protect herself, she screamed instead and propelled her hand in one big swing away from her skin towards the wall. She punched the wall and started peeling the wallpaper. Her fingernails hesitated for a second there before starting. Could wallpaper feel pain? Her instinct said no. So she went ahead, wondering if a selfish person would consider if wallpaper could feel pain before peeling it off. And she peeled it all off. Her attempts to protect herself are misunderstood as failures. But I know the successes they are. Because today, the story goes, Wallpaper was ripped off yesterday and a plate broke this morning. But the story could have been, Martyna ripped her skin off yesterday and this morning she shattered her head against the wall. My ear melts into the wall a little further. I hear her talk and her parents let her. She talks and talks and talks and talks. Her intonations paint spiky mountaintops under the ceiling of the living room because raising the volume matches the intensity of the palpitating wish to be understood. Her voice paints very high and sharp mountaintops right under the ceiling, and with every minute that passes I can hear the spikes go higher, slowly flooding the living room with desperation. They go higher and higher and higher until there is no more space to go higher. The spiky mountaintops she painted with her voice have touched the ceiling, and I worry, because from where I am, her voice sounds like flat, wet tears on dry skin. Thank you.